Hey friends, how's it going? Ash here, welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're doing well, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Today I got for you 10 different fragrances that have that sex appeal to them. They've got that compliment factor, that mass appeal, you know, that magnetism. But at the same time, these are fragrances that are more on the classy side of things, you know, a little more elegant. That way you can dabble in the dark arts and the light arts. So you got where people are drawn to it, and then at the same time, you're coming across like a nice, sophisticated, gentle man. So yeah, 10 different ones. We got some niche, got some designer, some cheapies, some not cheapies, the whole gamut. And I got these linked down here in the description. Feel free to check them out down here. And there's a new code to be aware of, GS25. That is GS25. Buy one, get one 25% off at fragflex.com. Buy 10, get 5 25% off. Get 50, get 25% off. If you're buying 50 fragrances at once, holy crap. But you can technically do that. Fragrance time, let's do it. I got the little basket of fragrances under here. One day I'll show you that basket, but today is not the day. First up, okay, why Oda Twet? This is the reimagining, the re-release, because they technically discontinued Oda Twet and then came back out with Oda Twet. It is slightly different than the original. Actually, I think it's an improvement. I think that this one smells better than the OG EDT. Massively different, but still a little bit better. Now this is a fragrance that I feel like works perfectly in the office. And really any time that you're looking for something that is a little bit sweet, very fresh, clean, easy to wear, and is a compliment puller. Some people are gonna hit it with labels like generic or boring or whatever, but this stuff works. It works extremely well. And because the Oda Twet is not quite as sweet with the apple and the amberwood as the Eau de Parfum, you know, it's not quite as in your face, I think that it works better as a classy type of blue fragrance. And it has great versatility. This is something that you can wear pretty much year round, especially if you find yourself in air-conditioned air-conditioned places. I did not include it in this video, but Bleu de Chanel would also work very well. Okay, next up, Intenso from Dolce & Gabbana, Dolce & Gabbana Prolom Intenso. Now I'm gonna catch some strays on this one, for sure. Some people are gonna say that this fragrance is the suck. They're going to say that this is garbage. And to that I would say, I bite my thumb at you.
Do you bite your thumb at us, sir? I do bite my thumb, sir.
So Intenso, it does smell similar to the original Dolce & Gabbana Prolom, but I actually find this one to be, for my own personal taste, a bit better. So this has lavender in it, has tobacco leaf, actually has a note of hay, which is, you know, maybe a little odd for some people, and then it has woody notes. It's got a lot of notes, actually. It's an aromatic fragrance, extremely classy, gentlemanly. It's not even really that loud. The name of the fragrance is Intenso, so you would be thinking lots of intensity, that this is just gonna really wallop you in the face and be overwhelming in terms of performance, but you know, actually it's a little bit subtle. So for some people, of course, it's gonna be a drawback. People that really want that punch, that type of fragrance that's gonna fill up a room, you know, announce your presence. So just go into it knowing it's gonna smell a bit like the original Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme, and that it's not actually all that intense. But as far as smelling classy and being a potential compliment puller, especially if you're dressed up nicely, crushes. All right, up next, something completely different, Salt and Pepper from Precious Liquid. Now, Precious Liquid is a brand owned by perfumer Richard Herpont, who is a friend of mine, so keep that in mind. He actually did my fragrance over here, Edgewater. He was the perfumer of that one, which, by the way, my new fragrance is West Loop Edgewater. Every Perfumania, every fragrance outlet store in the country, stop in, check them out. Alternatively, you can check them out at Michael Malul's website, which is linked in the description, along with my other Gents fragrances that I creatively directed that are on that website. So Salt and Pepper, as I said, completely different here. This one is a really interesting fragrance in that it has sort of a blue fragrance vibe to it as far as like the versatility goes, definitely with the compliment factor. But it's also something completely unique. So it's one of these deals where I feel like some people would smell this and just immediately be like, oh, kind of like a blue fragrance, right? And then just write it off. But the more that you dive into it, it's really not. Like it has that same type of versatility that you would expect a blue fragrance to have. Whatever your blue fragrance of choice is, your blue fragrance du jour, whether it's Sauvage, Dylan Blue, Y, Bleu de Chanel, whatever, it has that same type of usability to it. But then it's actually really focused in on the pepper aspect of salt and pepper. Now, when you hear salt and pepper, you may think of like cracked black pepper and then think, well, how's that gonna be appealing, right? Like you don't want black pepper singeing your nose. That's not really nice. But it's not. It's actually this really fresh and lively and lightly sweet blend of multiple different peppers. So we're talking Sichuan pepper, pink pepper, stuff like that. You know, you get this melange of pepper. Yeah, melange. And it works extremely well. So with the scent, you get this sort of blue fragrance-ish versatility without going overboard on, you know, the ambroxan or the sweetness or anything like that. It keeps it firmly rooted in fresh, spicy territory, and it smells great. And that does give it, I feel like, an additional classy edge. And there's a code associated with Precious Liquid. It's this, I forgot. It's this is a code. If you want it, I don't care. But if you want it, it's there. After that, Prolom, and I almost feel sad for Prolom because I feel like its glory days are behind it. It's been a while since we've gotten a new Prolom. Now, nothing is final until it's final, right? So maybe next year, 2024, we get some more Prolom action going on, but as of right now, this is one of the quintessential designer fragrances for office wear. You know, anytime people talk about a sexy, gentlemanly office fragrance, work fragrance, formal fragrance, business fragrance, this one comes up. And it makes sense. It's got iris in there. The way the iris is used here is very clean, soapy, fresh. Again, it does smell classy, gentlemanly, sophisticated, elegant, whatever you want to call it, very smooth. It's an easy grab and go fragrance if you want something that makes you smell, you know, kind of elevated, but you still want that type of scent profile that's easy to pull off. From there, we go to Brioni Eau de Parfum. This one is gonna be a fragrance that kind of lurks under the radar for your average person. They're not gonna know about this. They're not gonna be wearing this. This is gonna be something that more fragrance people know about. And also, as an added bonus, it's pretty sick. Stay with me. The cap is magnetic, that's right. Wow! And it's a pretty good one. It's not like the best magnet in the world as far as the cap goes, but I'll take it. But look at that. When you twist it, it doesn't pop up. You know, the Chanel ones pop up. Overall though, it's a really nice presentation. It's pretty simple, but it's classy looking. This one is similar to Aqua Fahrenheit. It's got that violet in there, but it's done with a really nice sweetness. It helps balance things out quite nicely. Comes across very sexy, very easy to wear once again. And you don't really have that kind of petrol vibe, that gasoline vibe that you can get from Fahrenheit fragrances, though to be fair, Aqua Fahrenheit didn't have that anywhere near like the original. I just think it's a great release, under the radar, not turbo cheap from discounters, but the quality here is absolutely worth the price point that you can pick this one up for, which I think is usually around like 60 bucks, sometimes maybe creeping up towards 70. Anything below 60 is a steal for me. Nice. Let's go back niche and let's keep it magnetic with Thamin's Crafted Oud. That's a good strong cap. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, it's a strong cap. So carved oud is one of my favorites. Ooh, do you see that? Nice pressurized atomizer from the house. And this one smells similar to Tom Ford's Oud Wood. So it is right in that style, right in that wheelhouse. Basically, if you like Tom Ford's Oud Wood, you should like this one. Little touch of warm spice off the top there, cardamom. You can pick it up pretty much right away when you spray this on. And then it's just this very full-bodied oud, woody fragrance. A little dark, mysterious, bold, not funky, you know, not poopy. Does it have enough of an edge to give it this real sex appeal? Absolutely, but it never ever crosses over into difficult to wear territory. Let's keep it niche with Fragrance du Bois Oud Ver Intense. This is a pricey boy. How expensive, you may ask? Well, like $415 for a 50 mil. So yeah, not cheap. I think it was $410, but when I looked, it was showing $415 on their website. That being said, you can find this fragrance on sale. And right now, as of when I'm filming, which I'm sure will be different by the time this goes live, but just as an example, at Max Aroma, it's like $255. So yeah, like half off. Now I gotta tell you guys, this smells flippin' awesome. So it's one of those deals where it is crazy expensive, but then when you smell it, it does smell crazy expensive. Of course, it doesn't hurt that this has citrus and ginger in the opening, which go together like, you know, hand in glove, peanut butter and jelly. And it really does sparkle. It's got this touch of warmth to it from cardamom, but the opening here is just a fresh, slightly tart, very bright, zingy opening that immediately grabs your attention. One thing with this fragrance, it's called Oud Ver Intense, so you're thinking oud, right? And also intense in there. So you're thinking there's gonna be a big old blast of that oud, maybe some funky oud, a little something going wrong, a little something weird, a little something bold, a little something edgy. But really, it doesn't go down that path. Instead, it stays mainly fresh and lively, and the woodiness in there is more on the clean side of things. Now, don't get me wrong, it smells great, and it's a really nice one for spring and fall that you could also switch up and sometimes wear in winter or summer, depending on how much you spray on and where you're going, what you're doing. After that, Leik White in Black. Now, this thing is a stunner, smells absolutely 10 out of 10. Problem with it is, at least if you're looking for it for a deal, it sells out and stays sold out at discounters. It's one of those times, one of those things, one of those annoyances where everybody wants it for that low price, because at that low price, it is a steal, absolutely. But because everybody wants it at that low price, when it pops up at discounters, it goes poof. So this one has vanilla and spice and everything nice. It's really warm, super sexy. It's been compared a little bit to Parfums de Marly Layton, so it's kind of in that style, in that wheelhouse, basically. If you like Layton, you should like this, that kind of vibe. Cardamom, lavender, woods, vanilla, even a little Tolu balsam in here. Just absolutely stunning stuff. One of the best things that Leik has released, and that's saying something because they have released some amazing scents, especially for lovers of fragrance. If you can find this, especially for a good price, you gotta pick it up. Also, just like Parfums de Marly Layton, this is a compliment monster. Super sexy and classy. Let's stick with the black bottles here. Bentley for Men, Black Edition. Now, once upon a time, all Bentley fragrances, and by all Bentley fragrances, I mean one Bentley fragrance, Bentley for Men Intense, was talked about and hyped as like the #1 go-to cheap fragrance of all time. Basically that one and Nautica Voyage, and maybe Encre Noir also. But anyway, Bentley for Men Intense had a big reputation as being the go-to cheapie. A Bentley for Men Black Edition is also really cheap. Never really got that same level of hype or attention. Now this one you can pick up for sub $30, usually somewhere like 26, 27, 28, somewhere around there at most discounters. So again, really cheap because that's for the full presentation. And somewhat like Brioni Eau de Parfum over here, it does make use of violet as one of the main notes. You also have tangerine in there, papyrus, among other notes. And so this one is gonna be for somebody who wants something that is, again, a very woody, gentlemanly fragrance, but has a nice kind of edge to it. You know, that little green tinge that it has reminds me a little bit of Gentleman Only from Givenchy. It's not gonna be one of those fragrances that's overly sweet, although it does have a touch of sweetness to help balance things out, but it's not sweet like, you know, Y Eau de Toilette over here, for example. It's a great choice for somebody who wants something that's high quality, that doesn't cost very much, that's gonna make you smell very classy and approachable, and is going to appeal more to guys middle-aged and older. All right, last but not least, it's White Duke from Moresque. I feel like I just gave a really weird face to the camera. Like I laid the bottle down and was like, White Duke. So Moresque has some fragrances that are bangers. And sometimes you can find these on the cheap from discounters, like sub $100. Now this is something different. A lot of these would work perfectly in an office. This one goes a little more evening mode. The opening packs a pretty good punch. Got some opopanax in there. You have amber, a little touch of geranium. It's been compared at times to Interlude from Moresque, and that's also gonna be because the incense in here, you know, the incense kind of wafts through right at the beginning, and so you can maybe find some similarities between the two scents. And actually there is a little, almost like bitter green tinge when you first spray this on, which also could help draw that parallel to the Moresque. As it dries down, it gets a little bit of a creaminess to it, nice sweetness and warmth that mix with those previous notes that I talked about. It does smell very high-end, very classy, but I would say, at least in my opinion, out of everything here, that it's probably the one that more people would find a little bit difficult to pull off. Not that it's crazy difficult or anything like that, but most of these are pretty easy going. So White Duke, if you want something that's gonna be a change of pace, that's gonna help cut through the cold, that has a very mysterious but classy edge. Good stuff. So there we go, these right here, all get the seal of approval, even Intenso. I don't wanna hear any trash talk about my Intenso, okay? I don't wanna hear it. Okay, good. I wanna thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow, then I'll bring a video. I'll see you guys later. So anyway, salt and pepper, as I said, this is completely different. Oh man. Well, deathbed.